I realized that there are four important decisions we all make in our life. And I believe that the quality of your life is defined by the quality of these four decisions. The first decision is, how do you feel about yourself? You get to decide that every day when you look in the mirror, when you wake up in the morning, you get to decide how you feel about yourself. The second most important decision you make is who you give your love to and who you receive love from. It's one of the biggest decisions, and it's a choice, it's a decision. The third most important decision you make is how you make money and what you do to make money. And the fourth most important decision is how you serve the world. And I find that these four decisions are often the quickest decisions we make, the decisions we pay the least amount of attention to. And so my first book, Think Like a Monk, was to help people make the decision, how do I feel about myself? And this second book of mine is, who do I give my love to and how do I receive love? Yeah. So that's why I wrote this book right now.
Yeah. And you just said it, and we don't really put too much into it, too much thought into it. I think that we also, and you talk about this in the book as well, we outsource our thinking on how to do it. And so we're just unaware. And you actually go through these 8 rules of love, and they are phenomenal. And I want to actually unpack a few of these.
I'd love that.
Specifically ones that really jumped out to me that I saw consistently, even working in my clinical practice, that would influence people's decisions, how they thought about themselves. And the first one I want to ask you about, this is rule number 2 in the book. We're going to bounce around a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
All right. And of course, we want to make sure everybody picks up a copy of the book. But rule number 2 was take a look in the karma mirror. And you started it right off because the word karma, we have this association with it, but there's a misconception about what it really means.
Yeah, I think that we have a very limited understanding of a lot of Eastern concepts and Eastern words. And I was very fortunate, having lived as a monk for 3 years. I spent a lot of time studying the Vedas and spiritual literatures that give insight and depth to these concepts and words that we now hear, like we hear kismet or karma, or all these words are thrown around in the Western world, but we don't necessarily have the most thorough understanding of the word. And so karma is often, what goes around comes around. I think there's that great Justin Timberlake song, right? Like it's like whatever you do, you get it back. There's some truth in that, but that's not fully what it is. So karma is this cycle of impressions forming into ideas, forming into patterns in our life. So let me break down what I mean by that. When you make a choice in your life, that choice has a certain reaction or a certain consequence. And that consequence is there to teach you about whether you choose to do that again. So let's use that for health. When I see a fried burger with a bunch of fries with a sugary drink right there in the evening, and I get attracted to that and I'm like, that's what I want to eat tonight. I make that choice in the moment. It feels amazing. But then the next morning, I don't feel as good. That consequence is not I got what I give out. That consequence was for me to reflect on, do you want to eat that again? Next time when you have that choice, that's what you're going to choose. And so I feel like that's what karma is trying to do. So sometimes you make a choice and we don't look at how we make choices. We focus far more on the result. So let's think about this. How many times have you ever dated someone later on to realize that they were the wrong person? But you never went back to think about how you made the decision to be with them. You were just really upset that they were the wrong person and they hurt you or whatever they did. But what if you went back and said, oh, actually, I chose to be with them because they were controlling and that made me feel safe. Oh, wait a minute, I chose to be with them because they kind of took care of everything and fixed all my problems. So I thought that they knew what they were doing. Oh, wait a minute, I chose to be with them because I was in a weak place and therefore they made me feel a sense of safety and certainty and I let them do that. Oh, now next time I make a decision to be with someone, let me make sure that I'm not basing it on that criteria. Let me actually go in as an equal. So that's what karma is trying to get you to have that reflection.